Good evening, TC, and welcome all to our weekly podcast, Terry Curran's Curran View with the Isle of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. Steady away. You caught me off guard there a bit, son. How you doing?
Well, I was having drinking tea, and I was watching a bit of football, and then I didn't want to answer it while sound was on the football TV, so that's why I cut you off guard.
Are you watching one of the games at the moment?
No, because I'm coming to bedroom.
Okay.
It wants sound on, so I haven't got the sound for it.
Right, okay. I was going to say, what game would you be watching? Because, I mean, you're going to miss the first half. You can watch the second half. But
I'll put scores on. I'll put the scores on.
Are you not? Wouldn't you watch a game live tonight?
Not tonight, no.
The scores, yeah.
Tomorrow night I'm going to watch Man City and Real Madrid.
Yeah, absolutely. Same as me. But tonight I'm watching the Yellow Wall and Borussia Dortmund. And I'm watching Dortmund for one reason. I'm a big fan of Julian Brandt, their midfield player. Well,
yeah, great player.
Yeah, what people deem as a number 10. And also I like Antoine Griezmann for Atletico Madrid. So I'm going to be watching that game. Watched a load of games over the weekend too. Magic moments, plenty again. What have you sourced for us, mate?
Well, it gets embarrassing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's brilliant,
But not only that do I think this is goal at weekend.
Yep.
A magic moment at weekend. I think it's going to be a goal at season.
Go on, what one?
Palmer's for Chelsea.
Yeah,
the nutmeg.
Yeah, and then the little flick.
And then the little bend round.
Yeah.
And we saw that many great goals this weekend again. Yeah. It's embarrassing to pick one, Gabby. It is, because when anybody tells me it's embarrassing when you're getting that many.
Beans, as you've talked about, and it's your magic moment, Cole Palmer, I do want to just stay and talk about that kid.
I said, I've never
picked
yours,
player.
But I couldn't help it. It just... I was talking about it with Trevor Todd, Carlton Palmer, because he came through the youth system at Manchester City.
Yeah, did, yeah.
And he thinks he's going to be a hell of a player.
Well, whenever I've watched him, I mean, he just looks as though he's got everything. He's got touch, he's got poise, he's just got absolutely everything that you'd need. And as a midfield player, scores at an alarming rate now, equal to Erling Haaland with 20 Premier League goals and bags of assists. What was your take on the penalty? Because it was the penalty kick that gave him his fourth goal. I know what mine is because I put it up on the Curran View. I'd have dragged them both off.
Yeah.
I'd have dragged them both off there and then. Sub off.
You see, the problem with everything, Gabby, everybody's trying to get him beat easy.
Yeah.
Everybody. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody's more or less defensive.
Yeah.
But in Liverpool, I think even Poch's got to play more attacking football at Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
And they've not settled in, or he's not got the team balance right. One or the other.
Yeah.
Then you get a result like he did last night. I'm not one for pulling people off for sake of pulling them off. I'm not.
No, I'm on about the penalty with the dispute with the two boys when they got the ball and they were rowing who was going to take the penalty. Yeah, but Gallagher come in.
How many times do you see it? I know what you was on about.
Seen it a few times.
I know what you was on about.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, people don't want to get beat.
No,
that's why the way they go defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come to they know who's taking the penalty.
Yeah, of course they do.
They know who's taking the penalty, right? I mean, he's been taking them all season.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's going for an hat-trick.
Yeah. He'd already scored 3.
The boys trying to stop him taking it.
He'd already scored 3. That was his 4th goal.
Which is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I'm thinking it's his 3rd, but it's his 4th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Gabs, it's all... They know what they're doing, and they shouldn't do it because they've all got the orders, and that's
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't care if he'd scored 23 goals that night. He's taking the penalty, and it'd be like Cloughie, as Cloughie would say, why is he taking it? Because I told him he is. And I think that's the thing with him. I'd have loved to have seen Brian Clough with 2. Did anything ever happen like that at Forest in your days, T, where there was a couple of players arguing?
Gabby, with 15 players and only 2 of us weren't scared of him.
Yeah.
Larry Lloyd and me.
Yeah.
Right? And Larry Lloyd was so jealous of Kenny Burns, it wasn't true. Me, because he loved me, and I never got a rollicking from him.
Yeah.
So no, and if he said Frank Clark were taking that penalty, Frank Clark got that penalty.
100%.
Nobody, different era though, isn't it?
It is. Do you think there's a lack of respect for the manager? Because the manager would, without a shadow of a doubt, tell all the players who's doing what. They'd all know who's on free kicks, who's on penalties, who's doing, because that's what managers set the team up. So it's disrespect to the manager as well.
I get where you're coming from. I don't personally, I don't think it's that one little bit.
Yeah.
It's the attitude of players.
Yeah.
It's the attitude of players. Right? You've scored 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, get me.
So I want to get my name on team sheet. I want this and I want that. You know what it's like society today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got 2 little sulk if they're not going the wrong way. You know what I mean? And that's what they've done. I mean, there's a few. We've seen a few this season where the other one has taken the penalty, snatched the ball off him, and missed it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you snatch the ball, you've got to score. I'll tell you what I've noticed this season, more than any other season. Someone picks the ball up to go to take the penalty and then gives it to somebody else. I've seen that on a number of occasions.
They've been kidding people on, haven't they, with that?
That's what it looks as though they've been trying to do. But again, you watch all these games, he takes the bleeding penalties. What's the point? I mean, I've seen it with Liverpool, like someone will pick the ball up and then go to Mo Salah and give him, you know what he's going to do. I don't know why they bothered doing that, to be fair. But Cole Palmer, absolute must for England, 100%. If you could only take one player out of Jude Bellingham or Cole Palmer, what player would you take? I know what one I'd take.
Say that again.
If you could only take one player, right? If it was down to it and it was just, and it's hypothetical because it's not going to happen, but if you could take one player and it was out of either Cole Palmer or Jude Bellingham, what choice would you make?
Well, I'm not going to answer that type of hypothetical question. You know why?
Go on.
Because you're putting 2 different types of player.
They are, yes, I get that.
Right? So he's going to play more forward. Is Palmer?
Yeah.
Bellingham is going to play a 10 role or an 8 role free role. Different type of player. If I had to take one player, I could only choose one. It would be Foden, and I love Bellingham.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But if I'm the manager, that doesn't come into equation with me. The best players go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what I've got to do, pick the best team.
Yeah, balance it up.
Right? And I'm not going to do one game because and then chop and change it. I'm going to have a look at 2 of the games.
Yeah.
Because you've only got 3.
Yep.
In the first round. Right? I'm going to get that team balanced up. Right. I'm going to get them to play for me.
Yep.
And I'm going to get them to play for themselves. And I'm going to get them to play for the country. Yep. I'm going to get them to play for their family. That's what you do. You build them up and make them believe they are the greatest thing in the World Cup. They're the greatest team in the world. Right? And we have got, there isn't such thing as an hypothetical question. Well, there is, but there isn't when you're the manager.
Yeah.
Because if you're the manager, there's nobody telling you. You can either take one or the other. So you're going to take them both. But I get where you're coming from.
Again.
Right? Now, if you just said to me, who's the strikers he's going to play? The kid at Aston Villa, he may take him. The kid at Brentford, he may take him. Well, I'm taking Palmer before I take them 2.
Got you.
And he scored an unbelievable goal against Arsenal. And I was going to pick that, the old guy. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, no. I thought, it is one of my magic moments, Ollie Watkins. The ball.
You're getting like Southgate, you. The hypotheticals, picking players.
But again, I suppose where I'm coming from with the Bellingham and the Cole is that I think that Bellingham
he is getting better than him, Gabby.
I do like Bellingham. I am a fan of Bellingham, but I just think Bellingham I think there's roads that you can take, and I think Cole Palmer has had a really difficult road at getting into the City team. Then he decided, having scored 2 goals in, what was it, the Charity Shield and then the Super Cup or whatever it was, and getting man of the match in both games, left because he wanted a settled position, and he wanted his shirt every week, and so he should. So he moves to Chelsea, which aren't in the greatest of shapes. Where Bellingham went from Birmingham to Dortmund to play in a substandard league, and I think I'm correct in saying that it's not as good as the Premier League, the Bundesliga, and then he's gone to Spain, which again in that brilliant Real Madrid team. I think it's an easy route that Bellingham has taken. I'm not knocking it. I understand the route he's taken, but when I'm looking at them two players, I think Cole Palmer's route and playing consistently at that level.
Saying those two different altogether.
Yeah.
What I'm going to tell you now, if I'm the manager, Foden and Bellingham are my two midfield players.
Got ya.
With Rice as the only midfield player. Now I would have to look down the country because I don't watch it as much as I should do. But I'm not a manager, but I know everything about the game. Right?
Could you get Cole Palmer in on the right instead of Saka, for instance?
Well, no, because because I don't want that. I want to play Saka.
Yeah, got ya. How about instead of Grealish?
I want to play Grealish.
Yeah, same.
No, I don't want to play. I'm playing Grealish.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I love Rashford.
Yes, I know you do. Yeah.
He's not doing it.
Yeah.
Kane. Choose what he does, he gets me goals.
Yep.
Now in training, it'll show me whether Rashford, Palmer, and Kane, how they're performing in training.
Yep.
And then I make my judgment, do I play?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's what I would do on that.
We've just got so many brilliant choices. I mean, and I just look at this kid.
The hypothetical is,
would
I replace Southgate now if I could?
Oh, I would all day long.
I would, but it would have to be a Klopp or a Guardiola type of manager. What gonna?
100%. Yeah.
Because if you were going to replace somebody now, he has to be an elite manager.
Yeah, 100%. And a front foot manager as well.
It doesn't disrupt the team.
Yeah.
It makes the team want to play for that manager even more.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to be honourable to Southgate.
No, I don't know.
It's typical.
I like him. Yeah.
There's only one team can win the FA Cup. One team can win the Champions League. One team can win the League Cup. One team can win the Premier League, and vice versa in all the leagues.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of disappointed managers. But it's like when we're talking to Simon, he's on about, and I get where he's coming from. City's making football a bit boring to watch. But in City, it's the opposition. They don't want to win a game.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not just saying because you're too good, we've got to sit back and invite you on. I never get that, because I think if that's your game plan, and if you can keep them out, all right, you get a point. But if that's what you do in football, I'm sorry, I'd dock your points for that. I don't think it's clever. I think it's boring, and I do agree with Simon on that. It can get boring, but I love to watch Manchester City. They're my favourite team to watch, and I watch them all day long because Man City excite me. I'm with you, T. The others bore me. Brilliant.
Doku.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Unbelievable, wasn't he?
Listen, if you put that back on tonight when you put this off, or when you get a bit of time tomorrow, have a look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking Luton.
Yeah.
Right? Not because he's done terrific there at Luton.
Yeah, he has.
And they are a small club. Watch the goal. Watch how the kids played it out to him.
Yeah.
Watch what do you call it, full back, wing back, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Watch what he does when he gets that ball. The defender, goes into his own penalty box.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, drops off. Yeah.
Then they come in to him, two of them.
Yeah.
Could have given a penalty away.
Yeah.
Right? And he bends it in.
Yeah.
Now you watch the great teams, whether you want to go back to Brazil in the 70s, whether you want to go to Forest, or whether you want to go to Manchester City or Barcelona, Real Madrid. As soon as that ball gets played out, to the left side of the player, in that case, Docko, go and close him down quickly.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
Not drop onto you. Now, if I'm seeing that, the manager has to see that.
Yep.
Now, what you don't do, you can't knock the kid and go ballistic with him. I would have done it in my day. I've got to try and get him to understand. He's got to go and close. If you don't understand it, then get somebody what can do that.
But I mean, the kid's like in his 20s now. He's been playing football since he's been 6 or 7. If you don't know now that he's got to close them down, he ain't never going to learn.
Here.
It's all relative, isn't it?
You know, I don't know how quick he is.
Yeah.
The first thing he's done is dropped into the penalty box.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I don't, when you're playing against somebody, you'll test them for the pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? You'll test them for the pace, and you know whether you can do it. Now, he's probably frightened to death of Doku's pace, and he is quick.
Yeah, he is.
Right? Not only is he quick, he's tricky. Do you know when his end product gets better and it's good? Not only will it get better, it will get better tenfold.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Right? So when he gets goals and makes goals, he's going to be some player. Now, going back to when you're about Palmer with 20 goals, it's incredible. He's same goals as
Marlon.
Al. Right? Now, he's left him out a few times, Alan. He's fetched him off. He's fetched him off when he scored two goals. He's fetched him when he scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
He might have scored more goals. I mean, that doesn't help him. That doesn't help him one little bit, does it?
No.
And he's going to get frustrated because he's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And listen, I've played with enough goal scorers. I know what they're like.
Absolutely. Selfish bastards, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah.
They're more happier, and I don't mean this in a bad way.
Yeah.
They're happy if they're not happy if they get beat.
Yep.
But if they get beat and they haven't scored, they're 10 times worse than manager.
Yeah, because all they want to do is score.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them
score and they get beat.
Yeah.
They look at it. Well, I've done my job.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. So he's got to be frustrated for Ireland.
Yeah.
But how can you knock Guardiola?
Well, you can't, because
there you go.
Again, what he does, he always has with the player. I mean, he's done it this season with Jack when he hasn't played him. He done it last season with Phil Foden. Phil come back. He done it with Aguero. He's done it with players. And if they haven't responded, he's got rid of them.
Yeah.
You know, Pep knows exactly what buttons
Who's the kid?
to
Who's
press.
the fullback who looks hell of a player? But he had a little bit of trouble with him, and I know he had a little bit of trouble because I was speaking to some people, not the ex-players, it was somebody important.
He's the Portuguese kid.
He will not have people what's going to mess around.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again...
I think that they're bigger than the manager.
And again, Pep is the manager. He picks the team.
He's the manager not to be messed with.
Absolutely. He does everything. He controls Manchester City. And there's only one gaffer there. And as you say, if you don't like it, you can lump it. This has been a tremendous opening 17 minutes. Dortmund, Atletico. Yeah, Rafinha scored. But Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I'm going to throw one to you.
Yeah, go on.
Why is it
these
bottom teams start to win it and this time of the season? The bottom of the league.
Yeah, I mean, players in the past have said the players are cheating because they do start playing at the end of the season. Birmingham City always used to do that. We'd put tremendous runs together at the end of the season when we needed to stay up.
It's happened since I can ever remember.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that was like when I was a kid, about 5 or 6. You know, it's always been the same. I don't know is the answer.
For automatic promotion, getting beat by Shrewsbury. Peterborough's equalised against bottom at League Fleetwood.
I get why the top teams get beat. I get why the top teams get beat at times, because their arses are twitching. They're playing fair football. They don't want to get beat. They're so close.
The way now with that is that they all think that Pep Guardiola, they can chop and change the team.
Well, again,
Championship one.
Yeah, again, there is that where they do drop players and rotate their team. I don't get that. I've always been of the school of thought that you play your best 11, and then if you want to get your subs on early, do it.
Chop and change me and you, rotate me and you.
Billy Bowden's goal for Oxford against Peterborough. I mean, unbelievable. And Eze's goal for Crystal Palace
Crystal
against
Palace.
Liverpool. I mean, he's
I didn't see Hull's
what a
goal.
player. Yeah, his goal as well for Hull.
The
Cut
ball,
in and
everything.
curled it in the top corner.
And then the kid at Aston Villa, you look at it,
I thought it's a great finish by Ollie.
what's he doing? And then all of a sudden he just lifts it up.
Yeah, I thought he took. I thought you've took one touch too many, son. Oh, what a goal! He just sucked him in and just banged it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he was totally in control
Brilliant.
there, Ollie.
That's what you expect. Lift it over him. He's pulled him in, pulled him down, lifted it over him.
Sucked him in.
Not hit the ball straight at him.
Absolutely. Sucked him in, gave him the eyes, bosh. And you could see by the smile on his face, I mean, absolutely joyous. Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, this Julian Brandt is as well. He's playing a fantastic game. I mean, Dortmund, it's end to end. I mean, they've missed a sitter. The fella Morata that used to play for Chelsea, I mean, he couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo, that one. But and Dortmund are on top. So it's a cracking game too. You at the Etihad Saturday? What a weekend you had in Manchester,
First time I've
mate.
seen Pep's teams play live.
Yeah. What was it like? Tell us about, how you got there.
Well, what it is, it's Gary Owen. I played with Gaz, and I played against him a few times.
Yeah.
And I played with him in Greece.
Yeah.
And he invited me over to the game. So me and my friend Cliff Billard went over to watch, we went over Saturday morning, spent a great day, fabulous food, before the game, half-time, after the game, looked after us all. Peter Barnes and Eric Nixon, Tommy Booth wanted to come up and speak to us, so they came over. So we had a fantastic day, and then we went up to the training complex. I know somebody in the training complex, Trevor Todd. He invited us over in there, so we went over, stayed over, and I'd look around the training complex. For somebody like Cliff, my friend, it's an incredible thing, because they're never going to get the chance to see it like that. And Trevor took us round, fantastic day. And I thanked them both, because it was a fabulous day. And that's the first time I've ever seen one of Pep's teams play live.
Was you in a kind of one of these suites that the boys? Has Gary got a suite there?
Yeah, I spoke to him, yes.
Yeah, because again, I mean, what a club, Manchester City, and even of yesteryear, and famously Gary Owen and Peter Barnes both got sold by Big Mel, didn't they? Yeah.
Why would you? Why?
I don't know.
What believed in young players? Is it because he didn't have them? He didn't bring them through. But I'm not sticking up for pair of them. For me, they were two quality players.
Yeah. I'm just, in fact, in Book Corner, we have got Peter's authorised biography, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a short while. But yeah, two real greats.
I'm just waiting for Pete to get back to, because you're going to do a podcast. I'm sure he'll do it, Gab.
I'm hoping so, and I've put in for Alan Birchinall as well. Uddy and Tony Jimenez have done one of Alan Hudson's podcasts with Birch, and it was an absolute great listen. I mean, he's in the bar in Chelsea, and they're gone, Birch, you didn't play very well today, this geezer. And he turned round and he's gone, blimey, mate, you got a big coat on there. You're a bit warm in there. He said, I have to for what I'm carrying. He'd open it, got a shooter in his pocket. But, I mean, one of the game's great characters, wasn't he, Alan Birchinall? I mean, Uddy was saying, I know why you got sold. And great little story there. And I think it's fantastic when the former players get together and they're just having a chat about the old days.
Great.
Some of the things they got up to.
That's the thing about when you get older, you start to reminisce about things.
Yeah.
And you laugh at them and you think, at the time we got right bollockings for that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Gabby, I watched him do that.
Yeah.
If I did that in training, I got bollockings for nutmegging somebody. And yet we scored, from it. We scored from it.
Yeah. I mean, in that game last night, I lost count of how many times an Everton player got nutmegged. I've never seen players be megged as much as that game last night.
I went up to Janet.
Yeah.
And I came back down and I didn't feel well. I got vertigo again.
Yeah.
Next thing, I said to her, Tom, just get me quilt off at bed. And I fell asleep on settee. I woke up at 12:05. I went for a wee, got back down, and then just laid on settee again and woke up at 5:30. I still felt a little bit funny when I woke up, but as days gone on, I've started to feel a lot better. That's why I said to you, it's not a problem. But when I get that vertigo, I have to go and lay down.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not I've never had it,
2 hours neither. It's
yeah.
I have to lay down until next morning.
Yeah, it's nasty, and it's a room spinner and that.
But so yeah, you start to reminisce.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at the Gaz because he said about argue. I said, Gaz, you play with me. Did you ever see me argue with him? A bit different that the arguing over here. But I didn't argue him like people think I did.
Yeah.
If Jack got onto you, I said, Jack, get off his back.
Yeah.
There's 32,000 people getting onto him.
Mm.
Lift him up.
Yeah.
You know, and I would turn around and just say, TC, come on, get your head up. We need you. You know, we believe in you. We believe in you.
Mm.
You know, but it's... And yet you see the Continentals do things and try things. Nobody says, oh, but if an English or a British player does it, they get bollocked.
Mm. But again, it's part of their game, isn't it? To play with flair. You try things, it don't come off, it don't come off.
But Gab, the only reason why we don't do it is because of what I'm telling you.
Absolutely,
I know I play for the football club.
Yeah. You're told not to. Yeah. And given a bollocking when you do. And if you do that again, you ain't going to start. But again, listen, it's the mentality,
they're not bollocking. You don't say get a bollocking. This might seem a bit thing. You ought to be in a dressing room with some of them abuse, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was abuse.
Yeah.
Unless you were strong enough and powerful to overcome that, it could destroy you. I've seen it destroy players.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But celebrating when you go back, we've talked about that on a number of occasions on the podcast, where players score a goal and they don't celebrate. Unai Emery didn't do that when he went back to Arsenal. He was jumping up and down. I mean, it was a fantastic result. But again, when a team or a club has got rid of you, sacked you, told you don't want you anymore, and show you the door, when you go back, you want to try so much more. And if you're the manager, you line up your team and you're hoping and praying you get that result. And when them goals went in, Unai Emery went absolutely balmy, and rightly so. Shearer did mention it on Match of the Day, because he said, I don't get all this bullshit with not celebrating against your old club. You've left them now. You're playing for another team. That's what your job is. You're a professional.
I don't think I've never played against Sheffield Wednesday.
Really?
No.
Blimey.
Never played. If I'd have scored, well, I'd have made some excuse not to play.
Yeah, Robert Hopkins said that actually.
I'd have made some excuse not to play.
Yeah, Robert Hopkins said that when he played against Birmingham City.
When they come to play at Everton.
Yeah. But again, with
when
that...
When they played up at Goodison, I was genuinely injured.
Yeah. But with that, you're a genuine fan.
Excuse not to play.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I've never done that.
No, I know. But again, it's different when you're a fan of a club like yourself and like others.
I mean, there's being a fan and being a real fan. You don't have to be a real fan to go to every game.
Yeah.
But when you don't want your team to get beat at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a real fan no more. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. Mind you, what a great result that was, Birmingham against Coventry. And that pass from Tyler Roberts for Jay Stansfield's goal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. One of them, like, disguised passes, if you like. But, again, a great result for Birmingham.
His dad, manager of Birmingham, Rowett, is from my next village up, where Cyril Knowles and Pete Knowles is from.
Who's that?
Rowett. His dad. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
He's got cousins and all that round here.
Because he was born in Bromsgrove, wasn't he, Gary Rowett?
Well, I think his dad were into army.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
His dad wasn't army.
Yeah, got ya.
And he went, right, but he's from here. He's from guarantee where he's from.
Oh, okay.
Definitely from Fitzwilliam.
Oh, right, okay.
So.
Yeah, and
I don't know where he's living now. his dad.
Well, I know, as I say, I know where Gary's living. Probably living somewhere in Smallheath. Although he won't live in Smallheath, he'll be living in the nice posh parts of Solihull, no doubt. Having said that, T, he's only here for a short while until Tony Mowbray gets well. So maybe he's staying in a hotel, one of the plush hotels in Birmingham.
Let me
Who
tell you
knows?
something. If he does well there and they're happy with him, he'll be manager next year.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I think it's very difficult taking the shirt off a player that's doing well. And I think the same with the manager. You know, if you've got that job, taking it off someone that's done a really good job is a very difficult thing to do. And Birmingham have certainly got to make decisions because at the end of the season, it's a very short, close season, and you're soon back in pre-season training, and you need to develop your team. And Birmingham have got some developing to do because they just aren't good enough. Book Corner, book of the month by John Leonard. Salute the inside story of England's own goal in Olympic Stadium in Berlin. And I've put up a couple of posts this week, T. It's a project I started a couple of years ago. England's 100 games in the 70s. And we have talked about a couple of the games that we played in the 70s, 72 and 75 against the Germans. But it was that game in 1970 in Lyon. And I've got an idea. It was the first time Germany had beaten us in a competitive game, not a friendly, a game with something on it. I mean, that was an amazing game, wasn't it? From 2-0 up to get beat 3-2.
Well, I can remember it was out with yesterday. They want to blame Peter Benetti, they want to blame Bobby, Ralph Ramsey pulling. You want to about the game in?
Yeah, the one in Lyon,
against Germany in
Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you look at it, you think to yourself, why? You still can't believe it, can you?
No. I mean, I was a little bit too young to really, really remember it, but my first hero was Gordon Banks, and I can only put that down to the fact of that save from Pele in 1970.
Oh,
but
that
you're
was
right,
incredible, that save.
yeah. But at 2-0 up, and you're taking your best player off, you just think, well, why would you do that again? Until you've got that third or maybe fourth goal, and depending how long you've got left in the game, if a game's still live, I ain't taking my better players off.
You don't pull your best players
Not
off.
at all.
I think it is why you don't pull your best players off.
Yeah.
Because they're frightened to death of that player.
Of course they are. 100%.
Now, if you think you need to tighten it up somewhere, have a look where you think, well, I'm going to be. We can pull him off and put that in there. But don't change something if it's not or broken.
Absolutely. And again, that was another own goal. England have had a few own goals against the Germans. This German here tonight, Julian Brandt, I'll tell you what, it's like watching, and we're coming on to the second book in our book corner, also by John Leonard, and it's Tony Waddington, director of the Working Man's Ballet, and I've done a podcast with John, so however you access your podcasts, go on there. Easiest way for us is all the w's.patreon.com/SRBmedia or YouTube. There's a load of our interviews, podcasts on YouTube. Working Man's Ballet, Tony Waddington, Wad the God, one of the great managers in English football that really doesn't get the recognition for his brilliant work. And I'll tell you what, Dortmund are brilliant. I really hope that they get through this tie. I mean, the Spaniards really are sitting back and on the counter are a bit lively. But Julian Brandt is pulling all the strings in this orchestrated performance here. But Working Man's Ballet. And I think when football is played at the right, they've just gone one up Dortmund. Julian Brandt. Yeah, I mean, he's like...
Is Barcelona still winning?
Yeah, they're still winning 1-0, I believe. He's absolutely tortured Atletico.
Yeah, what about a man sent off Barca?
Could be game on then, that in the second half. Yeah. As the game carries on and your legs are getting a bit tired, them 10 against the 11 doesn't always work that way, of course, but who knows. But Tony Waddington, I mean, what was he there? I think 17 years he was at Stoke City. And Alan said when they, when they got rid of Tony Waddington, he was treated so poorly. And football does do that. Football doesn't remember, generally speaking, the legends that put these football clubs into the position that they were put in there. And that one season, 74-75, it was a season that Stoke City almost won the Football League Championship. And you could argue the season before, when Uddy transferred on the January of 1974, if Hudson would have come there earlier, they might have won the league that year as well. Because they certainly got into Europe,
It's like, when you look at Waddington, if he'd have had a bigger club to manage,
Hudson always said that.
Who's to say he would not?
He was too loyal.
Won a league title, an FA Cup.
Busby wanted him to take over Manchester United, Al was telling me, but Tony was too loyal to Stoke. And Uddy also said it's a pity that Dave didn't go to Stoke and we didn't have Tony Waddington, because I think you're right, T. If you got Waddington with that bigger club, with the players and the finances that he would have available, what he done with Stoke, don't always work.
Football,
well, this is it, you see. It's all about the manager's philosophy, isn't it? We've spoken about it so many times on the podcast, but all in this wonderful book by John Leonard, Tony Waddington, director of the Working Man's Ballet, because Tony always used to say, when football's played right, it is the Working Man's Ballet, hence the title, and hence also the title of Alan Hutton's autobiography, The Working Man's Ballet. A authorised biography on a Wing and a Prayer, the Peter Barnes authorised biography by Gary James with the great Peter Barnes, and 5 lovely pictures of Peter, Man City, Albion, Man United, Leeds United and England. A great winger. One of the great left wingers that we've had in English football, isn't it?
One of the best.
Peter Barnes. Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah. Could go past the players so easily.
I mean, he came over to table.
Yeah.
Where Gazan meeting him was. And the first thing he said, what a great player you were.
Yeah.
But he was one of the best in country, him.
Yeah, he was. I remember as a kid watching that. I think it was against Tottenham when he got he's in on goal and he's fine to shoot. The goal is gone and he's just dinked it over him. But Barnes,
beautiful balance, hadn't he?
I just, again, the Working Man's Ballet, poetry in motion. These are players I love to watch playing football. I'm loving watching him tonight, Browne.
When Malcolm Allison sold him and Gary Owen, I thought to myself, what planet's Malcolm on? That's what I said to myself. Malk's one of these, not show-offs, one of these playboy managers.
Oh, one of life's great characters, isn't he?
So that's what baffled me.
Yeah, again, because he had such success being the coach, assistant to Joe Mercer at Manchester City. And when he went back, I wouldn't say it didn't quite happen. I think it was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
And he was the one that brought Steve Daly to Main Road. And I remember Steve telling me that he had a word with Malcolm Allison, and he says, look, if you're going to spend all this money on me, it doesn't mean to say you're not going to be selling players, are you? And of course he says, no, we haven't got to sell players, but they did. There was a lot of players that went out, and a number of players that Malcolm Allison bought in. And sadly Peter Barnes was one of them. But he had a great time as well at the Albion.
They were great in the Nollywood League.
Yeah, absolutely. And Peter Barnes, we put him in the Legends Lounge. Peter Simon Barnes, born on the 10th of June, 1957 in Manchester. His dad was a tremendous player as well. Have you got many memories of Ken, his dad? Quite an outspoken fellow by all accounts.
I knew who he was, and I knew about him. Just a little bit older than Brendan and them, you see. And they were coming to odds.
2-0 Dorman.
But he was a great scout and all for Manchester City.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was working Manchester City for many a year. and I don't think he was best pleased when Peter was sold, and so he shouldn't be.
I mean, I'm not thinking of Peter Barnes or Gary Owen. They should not have been selling those type of players.
Nah, not a Manchester
They
City.
were
When you're Man
international
City,
class.
yeah, absolutely. When you're Man City, you shouldn't be selling those players. But someone else that ain't very happy is that Argentinian manager, Atletico Madrid, because Dortmund have just gone 2-0 up. Dortmund tonight have been absolutely superb, and the player pulling them strings has been Julian Brandt. I'm a massive fan of him too. I
I know you are.
can't believe no Premier League side has bought him and built the side
Well, we
round him.
don't know whether the
Maybe
wanted
not.
to buy him or not.
Yeah,
Because you get some players, just like Matt Letizia, will
yeah,
not leave that club.
absolutely. But there's certain players that catch my eye and I love to watch, and Brandt is one of those players. Peter Simon Barnes was one of those players. 1974-79 Man City, these are just league, 115 games, 15 goals. Went to Albion 79-81, scoring 23 times in 77 games. Leeds United scored 1 goal in 30. Moved to Real Betis 82-83. 16 games out there and scored a goal. Do you remember much about that move, Peter, going to Real Betis?
No.
No, I don't.
I know he went to. I can't remember Gary Owen coming to Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, did he? Right, okay.
And, I knew Sheffield Wednesday through and through. I
Yeah.
can't remember him coming. But I would sign him.
Oh, right.
See, what I did when I finished in football, they were a little bit younger than me,
Yes, yeah, they are.
I remember him going to Leeds United, but he was having problems when he went there with his knee.
Yeah. And Leeds,
and
Leeds
then
won
I
in the
think
best,
George
didn't he?
Graham came up. It weren't one of George Graham's type of players, was it?
Yeah.
I think George Graham, one of them, came in there.
It was 81-82, and then he went to, I'm guessing it was on loan, because he went back to Leeds 83-84. But I am going to read this book of Peter, and because I think he's one of our legends of the 70s. Went to Manchester United on loan in 84.
Yeah. Big Ron took him there.
Yeah. Went to Coventry 84-85.
I remember Coventry.
Yeah, and then signed permanently for Man United for Ron, scoring 2 goals in 20. But Ron had previously had him at the Albion, so Ron knew all about it. And Ron's a wily old fella. If with a player he knows he can get to, he'll bring them players in. And Barnes was one of them players. After Man United, he went back to Man City, played a few games, and then had a number of games for an awful lot of football clubs too. In fact, Peter Barnes had more clubs than probably you and Frank Worthington put together. He played 9 games for the under-21, scoring 2 goals, 22 full international caps, scoring 4 times, and a B England international cap as well. The great Peter Barnes, and you can read, guys, all about Peter in his authorised biography on a Wing and a Prayer. Come out, I think, probably 2 years ago now, with Gary James, who's a font of knowledge about everything that is Manchester City. Roma player collapsed on the pitch, and another player in Italy died as well. We don't know what's gone on. We have our opinions about what's going on, but the very, very least...
We want the truth, Gabby.
We do, but the very, very least, it's FIFA that run the game of football. FIFA should be doing an inquiry as to why these players...
They got told what to do.
Exactly.
They've got to get
absolutely.
Because
but they have
everything, they would get it heavy with taxes and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely too. But I mean, it's ridiculous now. The amount of players, I've never known a time where so many players, there was always the odd one or two. We're not disputing that. But there's been an awful lot recently. So FIFA, do your job. Find out why these football players are collapsing on football pitches and dying. No, T, they won't. But sadly, they should.
Why don't doctors do it?
Well, true. Exactly, yeah. I mean, people should come out and say exactly what's going on and tell the truth. I know you've done a fantastic job on your social media, as has Matt Letizia and Alan Hudson, Young Alan as well. There's a load of stuff on Young Alan's sites. But, what we need is governments to hold their hands up and say what's going on. And governing bodies, FIFA, should be doing that for all the football players well, it's their organisation that runs football. Will Ten Hag be running Man United next season? Did you see his press conference? See ya, he's off.
That's why
I don't blame him,
I
do
hadn't
you?
seen it, but I read about it. He walked out of it, didn't he?
He did. I mean, they were just saying it's the worst Man United finish in the Premier League. And he just do me a favour, and he's just got up. He said, "I'm not answering that," and he went. I don't blame him. Some of the questions that asked to some of these managers, you know, they're leading questions, aren't they? They want a reaction.
There's some questions there's some questions they won't ask to certain managers.
No, 100%.
They'll ask ridiculous questions to other managers.
Yeah, absolutely. And
to get that manager into trouble.
Yeah, and it's a pile on with Ten Hag at the moment. Every time you turn on a radio or you see something, how long's Ten Hag got there? It's all about Ten Hag being, and they're all looking at the next manager at Man United. The fella's still in a job. All right, United, it hasn't been a great season. It hasn't been a particularly great time for Ten Hag. But I mean, blimey, you do need a bit of time as a manager. And, Sir Alex Ferguson had an awful lot of time, and things were awful for him at the get-go. And I think that Ten Hag has actually got a better record than Ferguson in the first 100 games that he managed in. So, give the fella a break. I mean, blimey, football's just gone mad. I mean, you look at my team, Birmingham, they've had 6 managers in a season. It's just stupid.
It is. And just treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
If the team's not doing well and the manager's not doing well,
yeah.
then you're entitled to write about, the local four team and things.
But balance.
If you're going to do it to one, do it to more.
Absolutely. I mean, Eddie Howe's another one. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, the press were on about Eddie Howe's going to get the sack. I mean, now he's up to 6th and that, and they're all blowing smoke up his arse. I tell you what, if I was a football manager, I probably wouldn't give it. I may be in the Gordon Strachan zone where if you're asking a stupid question, I'm just going to give a stupid answer and I'm going to walk out. And fair play to Ten Hag walking out, because some of these media lovies and
he did used to tell them they'd do you ask me stupid questions, I'll give you a stupid answer.
Exactly, yeah. And I think managers should do that. For new technology next season too, coming in for offside. I mean, how many times
do me a favour, Gab, it's all crap, innit?
I know. Why do they keep on doing this? I mean, when you were playing, you were saying in previous podcasts they're changing the offside rule again this season. I mean, players don't know what's going on. Linesmen don't know what's going on. Referee, no one knows what's going on. In fact, I don't know what offside is these days. I don't think anyone does. Brilliant ball by Brandt. Off. Dear me, was nearly 3-0. He took a free kick, whipped it in, and someone just needed to get on the end of that and put Dortmund with a little bit of clear space going into the break. 2 minutes added on, the referee's just blown up to 2-0. So it's 3-2 on aggregate to Borussia Dortmund. Going to be a great second half. Bayer Leverkusen, champions of Germany. I mean, you've got a feel for Harry Kane, ain't you? He ain't won sod all at Tottenham. It's an absolute shooing going to Munich to get a champions medal. And
how many times have they won? They'll win the league next year.
They won 12
how
on
many
the
times
trot.
have they won league?
I think they won something like 12 on the trot, ain't they?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
They've concentrated this year on the Champions League.
And I tell you what, I think that's going to be a great game tomorrow against Arsenal. I will be watching City because I'm a massive fan of Jack and Man City. I hope Jack does play because I just love, there's some players I love to watch play football. Without bias, I don't really support any team these days. I like to watch certain players ply the trade. Geniuses at work, artists at work. That's what the game of football is all about for me. And Granit, was it Xhaka? Granit Xhaka? What is it? The fella that used to play for Arsenal. He's just won the league, ain't he?
With
Bayer Leverkusen.
Leverkusen.
I mean, there's a fella named Frimpong. I don't know if he's in relation to the fella that used to be at the Arsenal as well. But he seems to have...
and all, isn't it? The manager.
Yeah, I mean...
Great ball.
Xavi Alonso.
probably deserved to win it.
Yeah. Unbeaten all season as well, T.
I don't know what it's like there.
I mean,
absolutely belting down.
oh, right. I mean, to be honest, I'm in my bedroom watching the TV and the blinds are down, so I don't know. Xavi Alonso, what a great job he's done. See, look, he's brought in players like Granit Xhaka and other players as well that maybe other teams didn't want, moulded them and blended into a championship-winning
That's
team.
what we used to do.
Sorry?
That's what Brian Clough used to do.
Absolutely, and that's what great managers do. They get players in and they improve them.
Get the team balanced up. I was surprised. I thought he may have been the next Liverpool manager, but
well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, he's done a great job.
Staying there.
It's the first time that they've ever won the league, so he's developed a great side, unbeaten in the league so far, unbeaten in the German Cup. They've got the final. I think it's against Kaiserslautern, and also still unbeaten in Europe as well. So, I mean, to go a season unbeaten in league and cups is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know Arsenal
Incredible.
did it with the invincible season, but they did get beat in the cup. So, it would be great if a team could go unbeaten all season. I don't think they will, but you never know, T.
No, you don't, but it could happen.
It could do. It could do, TC. Strange but true, Birmingham City were the first club to reach a European Cup final, not a European Cup final. The Intercities Fairs Cup took place between 58 and 60, where Birmingham lost 4-1 on aggregate to Barcelona. And Birmingham City were also the first British club to appear in 2 European finals. After that defeat in 1960, Birmingham City reached the final the following season, losing in the 60-61 final 4-2 on aggregate to Roma. Birmingham City, you wouldn't have thought it'd be mentioned in European Cup finals.
Yeah, but you know all about that. It's your team.
Oh, absolutely. Those were the days, my friend. Birmingham City. And again, Hibs.
I thought they'd never end.
Well, absolutely. And we did talk about Hibs being the first British club in the European Cup. All of these, strange but true, come from a wonderful book by Les Scott, Denied Promotion by a Tree. And I think that when I look at the title of that book, I just want to buy it and read it. And it is a fabulous read. Players tied. Players tired. What's your take? Rodri come out with it and says that he was tired. I know what Big Ron said. I said to Ron a few years ago about players tired. Tired? You don't give them a chance to let them think that they're tired.
The only thing I would say about today's football, you don't know what type of training they're doing, because I've been to some clubs and you can see they've run the legs off them.
Yeah.
And then they're playing Monday, midweek come Saturday. I know it's every day a week now. And you've got natural footballers, what are natural runners.
Yeah.
And you get some what are not. So I get it with some. I do get it. But they've got all the science now to know whether people are feeling. They can see if they're league. But at the end of the day, the manager can tell him. He should be able to tell himself.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got all these zones now, innit? These whatever they are. These.
I bet if they said to him, "You're not going to play this week. You're not playing next week," they won't be saying it anymore.
Well, Paul Fletcher, actually, funny enough, in '74, when they got to the semi-final against Newcastle, when Malcolm scored the 2 goals, they played Leeds United the week before, and it went very well. And he says to Jimmy Adamson, the manager, he says, I don't think I'll be able to play today. I've got a bit of a cold. He says, well, Fletch, if you don't play today, you ain't playing next week in the Cup semi-final. So we did play, but managers used to do that. And even if you felt under the weather, you would be forced to play in certain games. But, he's had his rest anyhow, Rodri. What a player. He is some player. 60-plus games now that he's played for City and they ain't got beat. That is some record. He is some player. And the FA Cup semi-finals, Manchester United versus Coventry, and Manchester United versus Coventry, Manchester City versus Chelsea this week too. you have memories of the FA Cup semi-final, of course, in 1984, starring in that game against Southampton for Everton.
Do you know, that was my first game back. I signed for them and I was out for 6 months.
Yeah.
When I said that was my first game back, I think I played Arsenal at home and somebody else. But I played so many games in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And played in semi-final. It looked like he was going to bring me off. And I said to him, why didn't you bring me off? Because I was shattered. He said, because I thought you may give us a goal or make us a goal. And I think they pulled Trevor Stevens off, you know.
Oh, right.
I'm not sure, but I think they pulled Trevor Stevens off and fetched Graham Sharp on.
Oh, right, okay. But it was Inchy that scored the winning goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what did it feel like?
To be honest, they could have beat us. They were the better team in parts of games. And Frank nearly scored an unbelievable goal.
Yeah.
Frank played in that game.
Yeah, he did. I think Mark Dennis would have played in that game as well.
Left back. He's a one tough nut in, and quick.
Yeah. He was a tremendous fullback. I mean, there's probably him and Statham in my book, the best two left backs. Kenny Sansom was great as well.
Statham and what was Sansom? I mean,
yeah, Statham, Kenny Sansom, Statham, Mark Dennis,
Sansom, Statham, and him.
Yeah,
other two were just lucky that Sansom what about, or the manager preferred him than anybody else.
I mean, if either of them players would be born like now and playing football now, they'd be an
We'd
absolute...
find a way not to pick him, Gabby. Just different manager may have picked
you're probably
the two.
You're probably right. Yeah. But having said that, Gareth does love a fullback, so those boys might have been in luck. Cup semi-final. Good luck to all of the 4 teams that's playing there. What's your predictions, T? We are going into the predictions after, because we have run the course of the podcast. But Man United versus Coventry, how do you see that one going? This isn't in the predictions, but just who do you think will get to? I wouldn't say Wembley, because they're both at Wembley.
Win that game.
Do you think so?
Yeah, comfortably.
You don't fancy the underdog? Coventry played 87. No. They played against Leeds United, didn't they, in the semi-final?
Yeah. Man United are going to that, Gabby.
Yeah, I mean, if you were putting your last fiver on it, you would put it on. But the fact
I won't put it on because they'll be 1-4.
Well, this is very true. But if there were the same odds and you could win some dough, your money would be on Man United rather than Coventry, especially with Coventry getting smashed by Birmingham.
Win that.
Yeah,
but the underdogs can win it. We all know that.
Absolutely. And can Coventry bounce back from that shoeing against Birmingham City the weekend? So watch this space. Both games are live on TV. And Chelsea versus Manchester City. How do you see that one going?
Well, it all depends what team he plays. And how Chelsea played, because Chelsea got a great result overnight, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Played some good football. I'll tell you what, that whatever the lad's name, I can't pronounce it, Madika or whatever, that winger, and Mudryk as well, they are like shit off a shovel. I mean, they have got some pace. And again, it comes back to Cole Palmer playing against his former team. You know what football's like. Football is, it's almost like the script has been written, especially when it comes to the FA Cup. So there might be a little bit of magic there where we would think Chelsea would play Manchester United in the final. Man City playing them in the final, but it could be Chelsea versus Coventry. Who knows? What we do know, T, is last week I beat you 5-4.
Oh my God!
I know, and I got one. I nailed the result. Sheffield Wednesday and Stoke. No, not that one. I got that correct. I got a draw. I nailed Derby versus Orient. I correctly forecast 3-0. So I got double bubble. In fact, when we talked about Chelsea and Everton. I forgot to give my prediction. So I was hoping that you didn't put Chelsea 6, Everton 0 down, because you'd have equalised. But because it was 2-0 and I didn't forecast it, it was 5-4 to me. So you go first. It's 9-12 12. Yeah, time's running out too. We've got probably another 6 podcasts, so there is time for you to get back to your winning ways. I
Got to
think you've
really
won
get
the
me
last
head
2
down now and
seasons.
start concentrating.
Cardiff versus Southampton. How do you see this one go, mate?
2-0 Cardiff. Southampton.
I was going to say, you don't want to win, do you? I'm going to go 2-1 to Southampton. Huddersfield versus Swansea. I'm going to go 2-1 to Huddersfield. How do you see it?
I'm going to go 1-0 Swansea.
Your turn. Cambridge versus Derby. If it was a boat race, I'd fancy Cambridge, but it ain't. So I'm guessing you're going to get Derby. I am.
Yeah, 3-0.
Yep, I'm going to go 2-0 Derby. You're going 3-0. Donny, 8 wins on the spin, all down to the Curran View and Terry Curran. I'm going 2-0 to Donny against Barrow.
I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. If they do get promotion, I'm expecting a free ticket for Terry Curran to be wined and dined up there at Doncaster, one of their former players whose input and impact this season has been absolutely frightening and phenomenal, TC. Everton versus Forest, what a 6-pointer this is. The points have been taken from both clubs this season. There's a thought
1-1.
Yeah, there's a thought that they might get a 1 point each back, but you're going for 1 goal apiece. I'm gonna go Forest 2-1. I like Forest. I always have done since Clough's days. And finally, happy hunting ground for you. Blackburn Rovers versus Sheffield Wednesday. Go on, I'll let you go first. Dibs on this.
I'm going to go, obviously, Blackburn Rovers 2-0, I think.
Sorry, what was the score again?
2-0 Blackburn.
2-0 to Blackburn. Sammy Smodics, he can't stop scoring. I'm going to go... do you know what? I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I think Sheffield really need to get something. Games are running out, and it ain't looking good, but, football's a funny game.
Too many easy goals, Gabby.
I know. It's... Again, if you can keep that clean sheet and nick one or score one when you've got that leaky defence, what's it like? Because you just...
You can see it.
I know.
You can just see...
Yeah.
That you can just see that other teams are going to score goals.
Yeah.
They ought to be 2 or 3 up against Stoke.
And it's not only that you can see it, you can feel it. And pretty much before you go on the pitch as well, if you ain't got confidence in that defence to lock out, whereas shoe on the other foot, if you've got that confidence in your defence to lock out, then you know that you can win any game of football. And I suppose that's where Wednesday are at the moment. They're not confident of winning any game of football. But Danny Rolls has done a great job. And good luck to everybody at Hillsborough. And we will see you next week, TC. Thank you. Love to you and your family, T. And thanks for your time, son. We will speak over the weekend. And thanks, pal.
Yeah, love to you and yours. All of you. I hope you have a great weekend. And I hope your teams win. But they all can't win, so good luck, everyone.
Absolutely. And we'll reconvene next week. See you next week, guys.
See you
Thanks
next week,
for listening.
guys.
Cheers, T. Till a bit. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.